you.
Member for Wollondilly.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. Last Friday, the Minns government announced Sydney Water will double the servicing capacity across Wilton from 4,000 to 8,000 homes. In July 25, Infrastructure New South Wales stated they were preparing the Greater Macarthur and Wilton Infrastructure Plan, outlining the phasing of enabling infrastructure to support the 30,000 new homes being built in the next 20 years. Can the Premier update this House on how the New South Wales Government plans to deliver on its commitment to provide the infrastructure to support homes and jobs?
I call the Premier.
Thank the member for
Wollondilly
for her question. And obviously it's a big interest for you and your community, a fast-growing community. Obviously large numbers of people moving into that place in the state, and it needs enabling infrastructure to cope with that change. I can report to the House that there's been significant investments for that part of New South Wales, including major investments like Spring Farm Parkway Stage 1, $200 million. The Appin Road improvements, $122 million. The Appin Road, St John's Road intersection upgrade, $45 million. Wastewater and resource recovery facility, which is close to $500 million. Added to which, Mr Speaker, the Minister for Education, the Deputy Premier, informs me of a new high school to be built and opened at Wilton in Term 1 2027, new primary and preschool for Wilton, again open Term 1 2027, and a list of roads and enabling infrastructure. There's not enough time in question time to go through it, but the point of this is that this is essential infrastructure for a fast-growing community that should have been supplied progressively over the last decade, but wasn't. And we are now trying to push out much needed, not nice to have, needed infrastructure in the shortest space of time as possible. But we are running up against bandwidth issues, trying to build and construct roads, schools, public transport infrastructure in the shortest space of time as possible. That's our obligation. We're going to do it, but we do need to make sure that the infrastructure keeps pace with population. The second point here, and this goes to New South Wales's longer term plans, has to do, and I think this is important, has to do with a more equalised distribution of population growth in the metropolitan Sydney basin. Under the Liberals and Nationals, there was an explicit and deliberate policy to put new entrants into Sydney on the western fringe of Sydney, and not allow or build new housing and new dwelling closer to Sydney CBD, in the inner west, in the northern suburbs and the eastern suburbs. This was a strategy that had been articulated. It wasn't hidden. It was to say all new entrants would go on the western fringes of Sydney, and they would have to deal with the accompanying challenges of rapid population growth. With, by the way, I mean, that would be bad enough, but with, by the way, no infrastructure. So two things, Mr Speaker. One, a more balanced approach to new entrants to Sydney, including infill development where infrastructure already exists, and two, new infrastructure for fast-growing communities like the member for Wollondilly.